Hey, how's it going? So today I'm coming to you live, and the thing that I want to talk about today is webinar setup blueprint for coaches and consultants to be able to get more clients. Pound live if you happen to be catching this video live. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Pound replay if you happen to be catching this via the replay. Oh, by the way, before I forget, if you would like a deeper dive, more specifically, if you would like to have a free marketing optimization call whereby I take a look at your marketing process and I show you the one thing that you can do from an optimization standpoint, you can go ahead and schedule a free marketing optimization call by going to VladimirAdonis.com. All right, so let's get on with the content. Webinar setup blueprint for coaches to get more clients. So you know how you have someone that is a friend per se, and that friend knows exactly what it is that you do, and that friend end up asking you for an advice, and then you give that person that advice, and then at the end of the day, they don't necessarily do anything, with it. I know that I'm guilty of that sometimes when I ask my friend who does something for an advice, and then I don't necessarily do anything with it. And that's essentially what happened to me, not too long ago. So I'm going to tell you the story around what this person was asking me about, but I'm going to just make up the company because my goal is not to call anyone out. My goal is to demonstrate to you from a setup standpoint that when you have the proper things in place from a setup standpoint, especially with webinars, a lot of it is just in the setup. If that's in place, then from a result standpoint, you'll be able to get a lot more results if you have the proper thing in place. So I'm going to go ahead and just make up a company, and I'm going to kind of just make up a scenario, just so I'm not talking about this exact person per se. So let's just say this individual owns a counseling service, and in the counseling service they have a way to attract new clients. So in their current counseling services, they're attracting new clients without a problem. And then the other thing that they wanting to do is they're wanting to basically retain those clients. So they have a client, and that client is going to be working with them for say the next 2 years. And every year, in order for the client to renew the services with them, their clients are getting money from the government, and the clients have to do an application. So what this person decided to do is that they decided to have someone in-house to help the clients do the application that's going to be submitted to the government. Apparently, the application process is a pain in the butt, and from an attrition standpoint and from a retention standpoint, they usually lose clients because the clients don't do the application, or because the clients don't have the necessary funding. So since this is something that's coming from the government, what this individual decided to do is they decided to hire someone in-house to help these individuals do the application so that way they can get funding. So twice a month, what they do is they set up webinars, they set up presentations, inviting current clients to come on live or come in person to do these applications, because again, the stakes are high. It's been shown that if these clients do the application, get the funding, they will stay and they will remain a client. So the issue that this individual was having is that they were having people that was signing up, but the majority of these individuals were not showing up. So then this person asked me for my advice. So essentially, I'm going to share with you what I shared with this individual, because a lot of it, again, is in the setup. If you have the proper setup and if you have the proper things in place, then it's all about just optimization, and it's all about doing a couple of different things. So one of the first things that when I think about, the webinar, and I think about the webinar setup process, don't focus on traffic, because traffic is not important, at first, right? You can always easily get traffic. You want to go ahead and focus on, optimization. So one of the first things that this individual was doing is that this person was sending people to a Zoom registration page, and that was the registration process. And I told this individual to not do that. And the main reason I told this individual to not do that is because from a tracking standpoint, you don't have the ability to set up the proper tracking. I told this person to have Zoom as an amplifier instead of having Zoom as the front-facing page. There are landing page softwares that allows you to generate a lead from, say, a landing page builder, and then you can take that data, you can go ahead and transfer that data to Zoom, and or after someone signs up, you can send them the information. You can send them the Zoom information anyway. So it doesn't make sense for you to lead with Zoom. Reason number one you don't want to lead with Zoom is that if you want to set up, say, a Facebook tracking pixel, so that way you can track people who arrive to the first page and don't register, Zoom does not allow you, to do that. So you don't have, the proper tracking. So the first thing I told them is they want to go ahead and lead with the landing page. After they set up a landing page, I told them to keep it simple and make the content on the landing page be very outcome driven. So let's just say, if I was building a webinar landing page and I was building it to sell a podcasting service, I can have just 3 bullets on it. I can say, hey, in this webinar, I'm going to show you how to do 3 things: how to launch a podcast, how to generate leads for that podcast, and how to get clients for that podcast. So as you can see, right, the content on the landing page itself is very simple. It's very brief, and it's very outcome driven. And the reason why is because that's going to increase your registration rate. So from a registration standpoint, you're going to have a lot more, a lot more registration. And then the other thing that the Facebook Pixel does, if you decide to do Facebook, or if you decide to do some other marketing strategy, is that you would know the individuals who arrive to page 1 and don't necessarily take the next step. So I said, I talked about the Facebook Pixel, I talked about the landing page. So then the next page is a thank you page. After someone registers, you're going to send them to a thank you page. And if you have a landing page builder, that allows you to go ahead and track registration, right? So, page number 1, if we're talking about a Facebook pixel, page number 1 just basically tracks the people who view the content. And then page number 2 tracks individuals who actually register. And thereby, if you're running traffic, if you're running leads, you can optimize for that conversion. You can go tell a platform such as Facebook, hey, Facebook, I want you to optimize for leads. So then the question that Facebook is going to ask you is, how do I know when someone become a lead? What you do is you just simply take the URL for the thank you page. You can say, hey, here's the URL for the thank you page. When someone arrives to this page, that is how they become a lead. So hence why, leading with Zoom is not necessarily ideal in that case, because you're not able to do those types of things. All right, so now we've arrived to, from a setup standpoint, you have the landing page, first page, you know how to optimize that. You have the thank you page. The thank you page gives you the opportunity to simply tell the person, hey, thank you for registering. If you wanted to, you can put the Zoom information on that page. Or if you have some type of a call to action, you can give that person some type of a call to action. Let's just say that I was generating leads, and one of the reasons why I wanted to generate the lead is because eventually I want to get these individuals on a consultation call. Well, you can make that offer right then and there, right? Or if you wanted to set something low ticket and so on and so forth. So from an optimization standpoint, you can really take the opportunity to make an offer on that thank you page. So that's the second thing. The third and the final thing that you want to keep in mind is emails. You want to make proper use of emails. And a couple of ways you can use emails is, let's just say that this person is registering for something on Monday and the thing is not going to happen until Friday. Well, you can use the email that this person just provided to you, and you can go ahead and transfer that email to an email autoresponder. Right? A landing page builder allows you to make all of that connection. And then you can go ahead and send out email reminders. So you can say, hey, this stuff is coming up, don't forget. So you can use emails that way. Another way you can use email is you can use email as a way to build more know, like, and trust. Keep in mind, someone just signed up for something. They may not necessarily know you. They may not necessarily like you or trust you. Well, you could be sending content to that person for the next 4 to 5 days as a warm-up, as a build-up to the main event per se, right? And then the last and final thing that I'll leave you with is, what happens? What happens if someone doesn't necessarily attend the webinar? Well, because you have the proper tracking in place, you can go ahead and follow up with people to say, hey, you didn't attend the webinar, here is the next opportunity. And or now you can go ahead and continue the dialogue and or continue the conversation, with them. So that is why when you have the proper setup, that supersedes a lot of the other stuff, right? proper setup is going to allow you to just win a lot more with webinars and with events. All right. And that's essentially all that I have for you today. Pound live if you happen to be catching this live, and pound replay if you happen to be catching this via the replay. That's it for now. I'll talk to you soon.